So, Michael, the reviews for Joker are in.
Yes.
Yes, they are. And I found one which I think, it speaks to me as somebody who hopefully will enjoy the film a lot and is going to actually see it tomorrow. So that'll be fun.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so this is the review. This film is my Black Panther. The movie... This movie empowered me. It helped me get over my rejection from the female known as Veronica, who'd rather date a Chad instead of a true gentleman who would treat her well. Amazing cinematography and a great performance from Joaquin Phoenix, who has fortunately moved on from artsy-fartsy hipster trash like Her. Yeah. Films like Joker are true art that often get misunderstood by the normies who watched MCU kiddie movies instead of challenging, thought-provoking movies and cinema like Joker or Batman v Superman. This movie is one which I will always love.
I think a lot of people are kind of forgetting that. I mean, we've had an all-female Ghostbusters, but we've not had an all-incel Joker film until now.
I thought you might get that, Michael, but unfortunately that review was not real.
Oh, really? You know what, Luke? Yeah. I'm really disappointed. I thought, when you say not real, I was kind of assuming that it would be like an IMDb user review. That was what I was assuming. So are you saying that, did you make it up, or did you steal somebody else's and made up?
I stole it. That is not my own work. And the first line is great. This movie was my Black Panther. I just loved it. I was like, this is...
That's the thing, yeah. To be honest, I feel like it should have finished on a stronger thing, actually. I feel like it went too... It was like too hard up front. So they probably... So I guess that's my review of that review.
Okay, yes. So anyway,
speaking of reviews...
great, yeah.
Because that's what we do on this podcast. Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films from the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I am your host, Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host, Luke. And this week, we are celebrating the release of Zombieland 2, Double Tap, by looking at Zombieland 1, Single Tap, and I don't know where I've got my... I've lost my my notes, so I don't know. I'm completely crazy, so just take over, Luke. Tell us everything about Zombieland.
Okay, well, I hope you find your notes soon, Michael. But anyway, like you said, we're doing Zombieland because of the new movie Zombieland 2 Double Tap. And also, it's been 10 years since the first one was released, so it's a nice 10-year anniversary as well. Anyway, Zombieland is a 2009 American post-apocalyptic horror zombie comedy directed by Ruben... fucking hell, how do I say this?
Is it like, it's like some kind of Zwiebsler or something like that?
Fleischer, that's probably it.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
That's probably it, Fleischer, yes. In his theatrical debut...
Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
And written by Rhett Reese, what a name, and Paul Wernick. The film stars Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, Emma Stone, and Abigail Breslin as survivors of a zombie apocalypse. It was released on October the 2nd, 2009 in the United States, so just over 10 years ago. And Michael, can you tell me what the budget was for Zombieland?
60 million. No, 40 million.
23.6.
Oh, wow. Okay, good thing I went down a bit so I didn't look like a proper tomfool.
Yeah, why would you think it would be 60 million, Michael?
Sometimes, I don't know, it just looks so crisp.
Yeah, no, it was a nicely shot film. Anyway, what did it make at the box office?
247 million.
No. I mean, if it made that much, you think they would have done a sequel a bit earlier, right?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, this film, I guess it was a bit of a 93.8 million.
$102.4 million.
Nailed it.
Yeah. So, yeah, obviously a decent return, but not massive. By the way, just to let you know, it grossed more than $60.8 million in 17 days and surpassed the 2004 film Dawn of the Dead as the top-grossing zombie film in the United States until World War Z broke that record in 2013. So there you are. It was the most popular zombie movie when it was released in the United States. And Michael, did you like Zombieland?
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was an entertaining film.
Okay, yeah. So that's pretty much what I was going to say as well. I liked it. It was entertaining, and yeah, it was reminded me of another film, which we'll get onto later. But
I know what you're thinking of.
No, go on. Have a guess.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. How many?
Entertaining.
How many nitpicks do you have?
I've got 3.
I've got 0, but I've got a lit pick.
Oh, okay. So my 3 are, one of them. This is a bit, but Emma Stone. She has this scam where she pretends she's lost a ring, and she makes it an engagement ring, which I would think would be counterproductive if your plan is to try and bait like lonely sad men. I would think, why would you say something which means you're off the market? Like if someone was like, oh, I'm looking for my engagement ring, I'd be like, oh, good luck then, fuck you. But if she was like, I'm looking for my purity ring that I've always worn because I said I was going to save myself until a nice guy comes along and then I'd marry him, but I'm a virgin and I love anime, I'd be like, yeah, I'll find that ring. So it just seems,
well, what a window into your mental state, Michael. Wow.
I can just relate to that guy. Number 2, pretty obvious one, but like the zombies should have bitten their legs while they were on the thing. Like, they were just hanging around, just grappling at them, just climb a bit further. Seemed, and then very much related. I mean, I just found the scene where they're on. You know what I'm talking about, like the tower thing, the up and down tower thing. The implication at the end, they take the seatbelt off. The implication is they could have taken the seatbelts off. And I feel like that would have benefited them. I mean, obviously they'd, be at risk of falling off, but, they're not little children. They can hold on to things. So they should have kind of, made an effort to climb out rather than just sitting there like sitting ducks. I thought, they just didn't handle that very well. Luke, what are your 0? What are your 0 nitpicks? Hit me with them.
Okay. Now, my lit pick is the Woody Harrelson crying gif with money. I finally know where it's from.
Oh, okay, yeah. You know what, actually, I was thinking of a lit pick, and I wasn't going to do it, but I think since you've done a lit pick, mine was the zombies getting hit with the swingy, I don't know what it is, but like the kind of swingy pendulum
that
ride.
theme park thing.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, because, zombies getting killed. Awesome.
Awesome.
But apart from that, the plot. Let's go into the plot. So
Luke, let's not go into the plot first.
Let's go into the premise.
Yeah, actually, before the premise, I wanted to talk about something, Michael.
Is it the fact that nowadays we're kind of already like zombies because of bloody children on their smartphones?
Yeah, I mean, Jesse Eisenberg's character kind of makes a reference to that, doesn't he?
I thought it was funny. He was like, no social networks, isn't that good? And then, like, no Facebook updates. And then he would, what a hypocrite, that Jesse Eisenberg.
I know, right? Anyway, so this movie, Michael, came out in 2009, and it is part of something that I want to call the zombie renaissance.
Yeah, I think that term has been used by other people. I don't think you're as smart as you think you are. Like, no, I think...
Well, I'm getting onto that, Michael, if you'll let me.
Oh, sorry.
So I thought of this term, and then I looked it up, and indeed, yes, this term has been used. And in fact, there was a book that came out in 2014 titled The Zombie Renaissance in Popular Culture. So, yes, obviously that term isn't something that I have just come up with on my own. But I did, but I mean, I'm not the only one to do that. And obviously this movie, 2009, you know what year The Walking Dead came out? The TV series,
I do roughly know. It was either 2009 or 2010, maybe 2011.
It was 2010, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I remember it was coming around when I was kind of at the end of compulsory.
First episode was Halloween of 2010, The Walking Dead. So that came out around the same time, obviously. And then Call of Duty Zombies, which started in 2009 with World at War. That game came out then. But then it really blew up and went huge in 2011 when Black Ops came out. And then Zombies, I don't know if you ever played the zombie game mode on Black Ops.
No, yeah, I used to. I was obsessed with that. Like,
really?
I feel like there was a period where that was just the only thing I played. I got to like level the early 40s at one point. I actually have a Facebook update about it. It is one of my most liked Facebook updates. I said, today I got to level 43 on Nazi Zombies and did the dishes. And my dad was more proud of the first thing. That's why I'm unproductive. And I was like, I mean, looking back on it, I kind of was like, man, I wrote some stupid shit on Facebook, but it got like quite a few likes. So there we go. I mean, I feel validated.
Sounds like, such a typical early Facebook post there.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, no, Call of Duty Zombies, I played that game a bunch as well. I remember I was quite good at it too. And yeah, I guess...
Did you ever get to level 43 though?
I probably got more, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
I did. I didn't want to brag because,
Didn't want to Billy brag.
It's unbecoming. And you held that achievement in such high regard, so I didn't want to shit all over it.
I know. I mean, I don't know, I wonder what the highest is that anyone's ever got to.
Well, probably level 100. Me and my friend, I remember we played on this map, it was called Ascension, and we got to in the 50s, because at the end of the day, if you just find a formula and you can manage to still have ammo somehow, then you can, just keep going, and then it's just a question of getting bored and stopping. And that's, I think, what we did. But yeah, again, that's just... But the point overall is Call of Duty Zombies blew up around the same time in 2011.
Oh, okay, guess what? Okay, apparently the world record is around 1,337.
Yeah, again, if you just have a formula, like you just have them run around after you in a circle, I remember that. Anyway, so 2 years later, after Call of Duty Zombies, obviously, you had a very serious zombie movie starring Brad Pitt called World War Z, as mentioned before. The movie that took the title off Zombieland as the highest-grossing zombie movie in the United States.
Yeah.
And so, I think it stopped now. The zombie apocalypse thing, it was like a cultural thing, I think, about 5 years ago. Indeed, the Zombie Renaissance in Popular Culture book that I referenced came out in 2014, which is 5 years ago. But this movie, Zombieland, was at the start of that Renaissance. Yeah,
I remember Frank Darabont, of course, of what's it called, Fame, that film he made. Shawshank Redemption fame, also the showrunner for the first season of The Walking Dead. He did an interview and it was like, 10 years ago, many, zombies were just like a weird thing that only a bunch of obscure weirdos who played Resident Evil cared about. But nowadays, every single person's like cares about zombies, and grandparents are going to the gift store and buying their kids the zombie survival guide. And it's just like in the public consciousness.
Yeah, indeed. And I don't know why that really was the case. And obviously why it's ended. Maybe, it's just a phase, people got out of it, but it definitely was a phase in the early 2010s, I guess, and this movie was at the start of it all, back in 2009.
Yeah, it sure is appropriate that for pretty much the rest of this Spooktober, we're going to be looking at films that have nothing to do with the zombie renaissance, because they're all before the zombie renaissance. But we can look where it all started. Well,
as you say, Michael, a bunch of movies we're going to be looking at are zombie movies, and you're a fan of these zombie movies, so I guess I'll say we'll move on to this. This is a good segue. How different is the premise to this movie than all the other zombie movies?
Well, I think so. This is one of those kind of in a way. So obviously it's kind of weird because this film was kind of early on in the zombie renaissance, and yet it does feel like it's kind of a deconstruction of zombie films in a lot of ways, because it's got kind of the idea of you have all of these rules, and like I literally just said, people have this zombie survival guide, and like people have that idea in their head, and I think you can see how this film was made by somebody who had a clear understanding of zombies in the public consciousness, that they've sort of come up with the idea of, what if some guy was in the thing and the main focus was on, he had these rules, and that is kind of the thing which I think sets this film apart. I mean, when you ignore everything else, like when you strip it down to its bare bones in terms of the plot, it's really simple, which is, I guess, similar to a lot of zombie. I think most zombie films do have the idea you've got to get somewhere.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. It's like it's a movie which is incredibly simple, and it's basically the same as every other zombie apocalypse movie. In this one, 2 months have passed since the mad cow disease mutated into mad person disease, apparently, which overruns the entire United States, and all the Americans are now zombies. And it's, I guess the premise is just your standard zombie movie. It does not go any other places where other movies have not been. And you're right in saying it is also a kind of a deconstruction with the rules that they make up and stuff. So, I mean, here's the thing. It's the zombie renaissance. And you say, well, it's a bit weird they would do a deconstruction. at the start, but obviously being a renaissance, plenty of other zombie movies have come beforehand. And I guess it was obviously Dawn of the Dead and Shaun of the Dead. And
Shaun of the Dead.
Was 28 days
Yeah,
later.
28 days later. I mean, that's the thing, like the main zombie films that were kind of leading up to it were obviously 28 Days Later, then the Dawn of the Dead remake, the Shaun of the Dead. So they'd already kind of introduced that comedic element. And then in the midst of this, of course, you had the Resident Evil films, which is just, like, so
You're
awful.
a fan of the Resident Evil movies?
You know what? I still remember I was scared when I first watched Resident Evil 2, but I was also 8, so there we go. So I have fond memories of that, and like it was one of the first zombie films I ever watched. But in hindsight, they're so bad. I mean, Resident Evil 3 is okay because like it at least makes sense. Nothing ridiculous happens in Resident Evil 3, but they're just they're not good. I was actually thinking about maybe trying to get one in for the the zombie theme, but no. I mean, I guess even horror films, to be honest, they're just like weird action films. Anyway,
from what I've seen of them, they don't seem horror related.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, so in this movie, just to get back to I guess how standard it is for a zombie movie. Yeah, it is standard. And the movie that it reminded me of, which I have just mentioned previously, again, Shaun of the Dead, which is just it reminded me of that, not for any complicated reason, just it's a zombie movie which has comedy elements to it. And so therefore, hey, it's like Shaun of the Dead. These people trying to survive a zombie apocalypse, and there's humour thrown in as well.
Yeah. Also, you have a guy who's pretending to be a zombie to evade zombies. So there we go.
Yeah, but in this movie, I guess all the main beats are predictable. You have familiar tropes in this movie, familiar characters. You got the nerdy guy who gets the girl. Which obviously is unrealistic and gives hope to all the incels.
Well, I mean, to be honest, it's he is like the last guy her age on the planet, so it's not too bad.
But
although really,
these
when you think about it, in the interest of repopulating the planet, they should kind of pair off more logically. So it should be like Emma Stone should get with Woody Harrelson, and her sister should wait a bit, Luke. She should wait, but then she should, because then obviously, otherwise it's like, who's Woody Harrelson gonna have? The little girl? That's gross, Luke.
Okay, so anyway, well, the point I was going to make is that's why that false hope that the incels have.
That's true, yeah.
Why is this movie so popular? Well, there you go. There's another reason. No, I mean, that's one trope. And again, got the gun-loving redneck guy, played by Woody Harrelson, who's paired with the nerd, and they don't get along,
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, basically, when you think about it, Woody Harrelson is Shrek, but I guess they save the day because Jesse Eisenberg is not Donkey.
What?
So it's kind of like, so Woody Harrelson, like Shrek, obviously he's a loner. He hasn't got time for anybody's crap. He's doesn't really want to hang around. Did you just
want to mention Shrek or something? Because I don't really see the comparison between Woody Harrelson and Shrek.
I was thinking that. So it's like a buddy comedy. I mean, obviously there's the women who exist, but at least at the beginning, it's very much a buddy comedy, and quite consistently the women are shown to be somewhat antagonistic, although obviously that goes on and off. And in that sense, it's a bit of a buddy comedy, and it's got kind of the dynamic of one of them is like, ugh, you dickhead, to the other one. The other one's kind of more like awkwardly friendly. And that's, I don't know, I mean, maybe there are other examples that are better than Shrek.
Yeah, there probably is,
I only know how to talk about Shrek.
Yeah, no. And to be fair, it is a really good movie.
Yeah.
So I can understand you wanting to talk about it. But anyway, so those are the tropes, those are the, beats. And here's the thing, I was wondering if this movie, throughout watching it, I was wondering if it was going to go anywhere and like have a message, have a character arc in there with Jesse Eisenberg's character or whatever. And it kind of did at the end. There was this line, and it was kind of a throwaway line, although it was the last line in the movie, which gives it extra significance, I guess. But he talks about needing a family or getting a family.
Yeah.
Even though, he didn't. He says, well, he didn't really have one before, but now he does, which is your typical kind of thing when people are in difficult situations and I've known this person for like 2 days and now we're family. Obviously, the most famous example of that is in Suicide Squad, or Infamous, I should say. Do you remember that character who says, like, I've already lost one family, I'm not losing another?
Which one? Is that Will Smith?
No, it's not Will Smith.
Diablo?
No. I think it's Diablo, yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to, because they've both got a thing of, like, I don't know, having a family, so... And
so here's the thing, like, that right there, I don't really think is that great a thing, because it's, like I said, it's been played out, and it's you've known them for, like, maybe, let's say a week. Just 1 week, okay?
Yeah.
But the other thing I like is he says, Jesse Eisenberg at the end, he's not a zombie anymore, and he's happy. And it should be fleshed out more, though, because I do like that idea that a zombie apocalypse was needed for him to feel human and not like a zombie.
Yeah.
Like, it makes him feel actually, like I said, like a human. It's a really good message, I think, but the problem is there aren't any flashbacks, and it's not really...
Yeah, I agree. It would have been good kind of if you saw him being... I mean, obviously, the closest you can get is literally the fact that it was like, I just spent all my time playing video games on my computer, which is a bit of a tame thing. I mean, they could have shown him being a real zombie.
Yeah, a real zombie. Like, there's maybe, there's some people partying outside his dorm, I don't know, and he's just in there, just with his headphones on, just trying to, really, really...
trying to masturbate to My Little Pony porn.
Yeah, okay. Trying to play World of Warcraft. Which he was playing, yeah. I mean...
basically, with Jack.
And that's the thing, if you're going to go down the family route again, which I don't think is the good path to go down, because, again, it's just, like, it's a trope which is overdone, but show flashbacks of him not connecting with his family. Show flashbacks of him not getting along when everyone's having a family dinner, and he's just, basically left out of all the talk that's going on there. Just because it's like, oh, okay, well, he didn't get along with his parents, but, I mean, it's, it would have to be pretty bad for you to just abandon them.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of weird, because he's like, literally, my parents, and he's just like, well, what do they do? I mean, like, it kind of just seems like it's just like, my parents, I mean, who cares about them? It's like, they didn't even see, I mean, the thing he says is like, my parents are the kind of, social shut-ins like me. I think he says that at some point, so basically, which, I don't know, I mean, if anything, would seem to be, like, it would almost make more sense if his parents were the opposite. If,
I was thinking that. If his
parents were really outgoing and and that's why I didn't like them. Instead, it's like, no, I hate my parents because they're just like me.
It's like, if it was like the relationship that, what's that show called? American Dad, with Steve Smith and his dad, Stan Smith, who's obviously the main character. Like, one of the main things in that show was, the dad, Stan Smith, is like, I want my son to be, very strong and like an alpha. And Steve's a nerd, and it's, like, it's not really that experimental, obviously, but that kind of trope, or that kind of dynamic...
Billy Elliot.
Yeah, Billy Elliot. That kind of dynamic would make more sense as to if you were not to like your family, apart from just saying they're like introverts like me. That would make you surely feel like you could connect with them more. That's an issue I have as well with that path that they decided to go down. Again, I did like that message about, he needed to have a zombie apocalypse for him to, feel human. I do like that message. It's just a shame it wasn't fleshed out more.
Because I was going to say, I mean, that's interesting because a common trope of, maybe to a greater extent, early zombie films, even the arguably first zombie film, Night of the Living Dead, is the big message at the end is, human beings are the real zombies. Is a common message in a lot of early zombie films, and that human beings are the real monsters, and human beings are zombies already. And obviously, it's usually presented in a very kind of downbeat way, where in some sense the message you get from the film is that human beings deserve the zombie apocalypse because we've allowed ourselves to become so zombified already. But obviously,
that's different to this message.
It takes. I was going to say, it takes kind of the same concept and sort of presents a more wholesome spin on it, which is kind of good.
And it's concentrated on a singular individual as well.
Yeah, as well,
apart from society,
Yeah, I did want to say another, I guess, character arc is that obviously he says, my rule is don't be a hero. And then at the end, and also he's scared of clowns, I guess. So, and then he meets a zombie that looks like a clown, and he says, oh, because it's a zombie that looks like a clown, this means this is the time when I'm supposed to be a hero, which I guess is because it's like, oh, it's a clown, because then I need to face my fears, and that shows that I need to be a hero sometimes. So I guess you could say that's the message.
I'm not going to say that. It's not really a character arc. It's like a character jump. Like you suddenly oh, he's scared of clowns. Oh, he's in this situation where he needs to beat up a clown. Oh, he does it in like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
and there we go. We're done.
And I was going to say the other thing is like, don't be a hero. It's not like his rule number one. Like that's kind of like, I mean, that would have helped if it was like, hey, rule number, or maybe you would have gone through the rules and kind of, listed them at random, like rule number 2, rule number 7, rule number 2. And he goes, the most important rule number 1, don't be a hero. And that was like in the first 5 minutes.
Yes, rule number 1, don't be a hero. And it's because when he's trying to escape the zombie apocalypse, he sees someone trying to be a hero and they die.
Yeah,
and so then he's like, oh, that's number 1, do not be a hero. And then he realizes that if he's not a hero, he's never going to be, he's losing his humanity. I don't know, he's never going to feel alive again. So he's like, no, I don't just want to exist. We're just trying to survive. I want to, live, I guess. Maybe that could have been a nice character arc as well.
So
and you're right,
obviously,
it being rule number 1, that would have been a lot better. It would have more emphasis.
It was actually, do you remember what rule it was? What number rule it was? Don't be a hero.
It was 17, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 17.
I watched these movies, So
yeah, well, I'm not good with numbers, so I was proud of myself for remembering it.
And it would be good if Emma Stone had this, I guess, what would I say? She was basically against the rules. She'd be like, no, you can't have rules if you want to survive a zombie apocalypse. You've got to, treat each situation as it comes, and not be so stuck in your ways. And then a character, the arc could be, he realizes that Emma Stone was right, and it allows him to save her. So, yeah, that's just something, again, that I think would have been better as well.
You're right. So, on the subject of rules, I suppose I'll say I liked how the rules kind of... So you'd see as... and like I say, the main thing this film brought to the table that made it like different from your standard zombie film is it was like the focus on him having these rules, and it was like... so obviously you had, when he'd do an example of the rule, it would come up stylistically as a little bit of text.
Stylistically, what a great word.
And then... sometimes where he'd learn a rule, so he'd be like, okay, I've learned a rule now. So obviously the classic example is there's a zombie in the back seat, and then he learns, check the back seat. And I thought that was like a nice thing. It was like, so he's added a rule, and he's following his rules. That's obviously, I mean, the thing is, it's not necessarily the most fantastic thing in the world, but it's the thing that kind of distinguishes this from just a regular zombie film. Like, if that wasn't there, I think I would have a significantly more negative opinion of this film, because I would just say it was literally just a guy, whereas you go, okay, so it's the rules, and it's like, okay, that adds something to it, and I like that, and that bumps it up considerably.
I'm thinking of a better thing, actually, that Emma Stone could say to convince him to change his rule of don't be a hero. She could have been a hero, maybe to save her sister. And it could have worked out for them, because she couldn't have escaped if she didn't have her sister alongside her.
Yeah. Or, okay, what could have happened is that they needed to escape, so he jumped into a canoe, and she handed him the oar and said, here, row. And then he was like, hero, I've got to be a hero. And then he took the oar and like jumped out onto the harbour and started just fighting the zombies with the oar, just smashing them. And I was like, go, it's fine, I've got this. That's a character arc.
Is that something from The Simpsons?
I don't think so.
No, that sounds like something from The Simpsons.
Well, like hero.
Yeah, then, like they're trying to get away, and the character's like, no, I have realised I need to be a hero. And the character's like, oh, this is not the time, we need to go. I don't know, it just seems like something from
I don't know. I mean, maybe I saw it. So I'm going to type in hero pun. Hero pun in plea for Gurkhas. Okay. There's a guy called Hero Pun.
Wow.
Like his name is Hero Pun.
Okay. Well, the fact is, Michael, that you haven't copied it from The Simpsons or any other...
So I didn't take it from that. I mean, maybe you do recognise it from something. But,
no, I just thought that sounded like something out of The Simpsons.
Good, I'm glad that you trust me.
Which means you should write for The Simpsons.
Exactly, yeah, I should. Especially, I mean, anyone could write for The Simpsons nowadays. When Marge becomes a robot, maybe Bart gets a cell phone. Has Mo ever owned a bear? No, it's the other way around. It's Mo gets a cell phone. Has Bart ever owned a bear?
Yeah, that's right.
Good. I'm glad that you think that's right, Luke.
Okay.
Anyway,
do you have anything else to say on the plot?
So I have... you know what's going to happen now, Luke. I have to say my big problem with the film.
What's your big problem with the film?
Okay, so actually, here's the thing. When I first watched this film, which was before we were planning on reviewing it, I watched this film just casually in the thing I do sometimes where I just watch films. Even before this podcast happened, I used to watch films, and this was one of those films. And I actually thought to myself, like, I want to kind of review this film as I was watching it. But I never really followed through because I didn't really have that much to say. But that doesn't stop me on this podcast. The thing is, like I said, the whole thing this film has is like, oh, we got these rules. And what kind of bothered me is that that's like it. The kind of conceit of the film is like, hey, you know, the reason why this guy is alive is because, you know, you have to have a plan. You have to be smart. And it shows like all these other people dying because they didn't have these smart plans. And then you watch it and like you're like, okay, he's not really that smart. And it's kind of like it takes away from the message. Obviously, I know you're going to say, well, hold on, isn't the message of the film that you don't need to obey the rules? And while it's true, the rule you don't need to obey is like the be callous rule. It's not the don't be an idiot rule. The don't be an idiot rules are good, and yet people are idiots. So number one, okay, just apart from anything else, double tap is not even a good rule because it's like sometimes that's unnecessary and it wastes bullets. And to be honest, the whole idea of getting a gun in a zombie apocalypse is annoying. But
why is it annoying?
Because like you're dependent on ammo, whereas like if you got a sword, then you can just slice. I mean, I'm not saying don't have a gun. Like, obviously, having a gun is good. Sounds like what you're saying. But I'm saying, like, a gun really should be, like, your backup. Like, it should be, like, your main thing should be conserving ammo and just saying, I'm going to, you know, stand back and melee. Because ultimately, if you're up against one zombie, you can just melee them. You can just slice their head off with your sword. And then, obviously, you don't have to worry about ammo. I mean, worst case scenario, you slice through so many zombies, you need to sharpen your sword a bit. But ultimately you're in a good situation. And then obviously sometimes, you know, maybe you get cornered and you don't have enough room, then you pull out your pistol and boom, boom, boom. Anyway, gonna go through. Okay. He leaves the boot to Woody Harrelson's car open when they go to the convenience store. He leaves the fire escape door open, which is stupid because fire escapes open from the inside. He opens it from the inside and then leaves a box there so it can be opened from the outside. They throw away their baseball bat, even though a baseball bat's a really useful weapon. They just waste ammunition by firing their guns into the air. They prefer a big truck over a small, fuel-efficient truck, even though fuel's going to be not that much of it. They don't realize that the girls could be behind the hay barrels when obviously there's like hay barrels right there. You'd have to be kind of stupid to not be like, hey, there's some hay barrels. That's funny. You get a pun. They sit in the movie theatre with music playing, even though they've already said, hey, let's not do anything until we check the rooms. And they clearly hadn't checked all the rooms because Bill Murray's in one of the rooms, just casually. They bring all the zombies to the fun park by lighting up the big fun park place.
Okay, but to be fair, that's not Jesse Eisenberg, though.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true, yeah. Okay, yeah. So actually, I've got a few more. Yeah, so I guess to be honest, my thing with that is like it's like the other characters. If they're so stupid, you have to think, well, how have they not been killed already? Because I mean, let's be honest. I'm just going to say this, and I guess the other problem is like Emma Stone and other woman. I don't know her name. Other girl, really. Wow. They're like shown to be these clever hucksters. So that's the whole thing, and yet. Again, they seem to be a bit silly. Like, I don't really know why they got off the Colossus. I would think the Colossus is like a great thing to be on if you want to fight zombies. And they decide to jump out of the Jeep and just make it go into the water, even though like a Jeep's a pretty piff thing to have if you're fighting zombies. And then they go on the dumbest ride of all, and I've already said quite a bit about that, but the fucking ride that goes up and down, like any ride in the entire world, the pendulum ride, to be honest, like I said that was a lit pick. That would have been a great ride to get on. If you got on the pendulum ride, you could just... I mean, you don't even have to do anything. The zombies just walk up to you and get smashed to pieces.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, they would, wouldn't they?
So yeah, I did that. And I was also a roller coaster. I mean, roller coaster's not the best ride, but it would still be... At least you're, like, moving around. They're on a ride where they're just going up and down, being dangled to zombies. Jesse Eisenberg runs into a haunted house. The most ridiculous thing anyone could possibly run into in a zombie apocalypse. Because it's already filled with, like, fake scares. It's just designed to be like dark. That
was just, you know, the movie having a bit of fun at the end.
Yeah, well, you know what? And then also, do they do this? Maybe I don't know if I'm right about this. I mean, I guess they must do because I wrote it down. They stopped to kiss while there were zombies around them. I actually don't remember that, but apparently it did happen. Apparently they stopped to kiss while there were zombies around them. And the point is, I'm just saying,
at the end. I mean, there wasn't zombies around. I mean, there's zombies in the general area, but there wasn't one like 5 feet away from them.
Yeah, okay. Well,
That's a bit harsh.
To be honest, I actually wrote most of this on my first watch of the film, so I wasn't really paying attention to any of it the second time around. So I can't justify. I'm not gonna, I can't justify the version of me a couple of months ago who watched this film for the first time and wrote all of this. Oh, not the first time, the first time for mine towards reviewing it and wrote all this stuff down. But the point is, like, for me, that was like, it was just like so much stupid stuff. I was like, it kind of failed to suspend my disbelief, and I was like, okay, it's okay. But I'm just like, just don't be that stupid. Because I guess the thing is, like, if an important thing to do really when you're writing a script is to think to yourself as a writer, would I do this? Or would I go, no, that's really stupid? And when it comes down to it, I mean, if the writer is writing this thinking, I know what I'd do if I was in a theme park and there were zombies chasing me, go on the fucking ride that just goes up and down and stops and lowers me to a crowd of hungry zombies.
You're very anal retentive about these things, Michael. Like, there's a bunch of zombies chasing you. You gotta, sometimes you're not thinking straight, okay? You just gotta go with your instinct.
Well, here's a question for you, Luke. What would be your rules for surviving a zombie apocalypse? Rule number 1.
Okay, my rules. Well, there's some video on YouTube that says the best place to go to survive a zombie apocalypse, and it's in France somewhere, I think. Oh, it's an island off France, so that's where I'd go.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I kind of have my basic idea, and also I think it's worth bearing in mind, you have to bear in mind the different types of zombies. Because believe it or not, Luke, I'm going to ask you this question several more times as we approach other different kinds of zombies, so just get ready for it, Luke. But,
okay.
But these kinds of zombies, I mean, the general zombies. So, sorry, I mean, the same question. But when there are different. So, as we look at other films, they'll be different. So, these zombies are, of course, running zombies that can only be killed by being shot in the head. That's, like, basically seems to be the rules. Well, actually, I think they can be shot killed by shooting in the stomach, but you have to shoot them multiple times. That seems to be kind of the rule. But basically, they run, and that's obviously the main thing about them. Like, obviously, our classic zombies are the slow zombies. However, these are my rules. I think they're very good. Number 1. Leather armor. Okay, like, this is the number 1 thing, which nobody ever does in zombie fights. I just think it makes so much more sense because, you don't need, like, metal armor because they use their teeth. But if you just got, like, leather gloves, and obviously, you're going to have to take the time to fashion it yourself, but, I mean, it's not like the shoe shops are going to be empty, full.
Oh, yeah, all those shoe shops which are out there.
Well, there's the Clark's in the town centre.
Ooh, la-di-da.
Is Clark's even fancy? Well, I don't know. TK Maxx then, Luke. Fine. Only that's the scummiest place in the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
More importantly, so yeah, like leather armor. Number 2, swords. Obviously, swords. You just like don't need to thingy. I guess number 3 would be like get a backup gun. Although in the UK, I mean, basically, you're just going to have to kill a farmer.
So basically, Michael, you asked that question of me just so you could ask that question of yourself and go on like this fucking 20 bullet point plan that you have if this thing ever occurs.
I've only got 1 more left.
You better have.
Like, so maybe the Isle of Mull, but basically any one of those like islands off the coast of Scotland. I know you said like islands off the coast of France. My idea is just like any small island with a very small population that's quite removed from it. Like maybe even the Shetland. I mean, like surely they're going to be all right. And even if they're not, there's like 10 people there anyway. So even if they've all become zombies, I mean, it's not going to be that difficult.
Yeah, but so you want to get to a tropical place, I think.
See, I kind of feel like tropical, I don't know, like wouldn't... I don't know, yeah. I mean, I could see going either way, but...
well, maybe not tropical, I guess, just not cold like the Shetlands are.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I like... there's going to be lots of woodland around. You can just set fire to things. I don't know. I don't really know how shit the Shetlands are, to be honest. I guess my actual kind of other thing would be a boat would be very good.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Because you could kind of just like sail down the, river where pretty much wherever you live, there's going to be a river relatively close. So get on that, and then you're kind of just moving. I mean, you don't even have to use fuel. You can just take the river and then go up the coast and just spy around, have a look. I mean, eventually, like ultimately, there's at least going to be a place where they'll have some sheep and some potatoes.
Mm-hmm. In the Walking Dead gameplay, one of the storylines is they're trying to get to. So this is a video game, obviously.
Oh, okay.
They're trying to get to Savannah in Georgia, because obviously that's on the Atlantic Ocean, and apparently there's a bunch of boats there. So they can then use a boat and then go out into the ocean and survive. Maybe catch fish, I don't know.
Yeah, well actually I found out... So there was this show called Doomsday Preppers. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's literally what it sounds like. So basically, it's people who are preparing for the doomsday. And I used to love it because I just thought these people are mental, but also this is kind of interesting. And I found out something really useful from it. So there's a guy who was preparing for what's it called? EMP attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, oh, if it happens, then everything's going to go crazy. All the computers are going to shut down. And it's going to become an apocalypse. And then his plan was to get on a boat. And it revealed something, which I think is the most important piece of information anyone can know. Seaweed is a great source of vitamin C. So, you know how like the big thing with pirates is they got scurvy and died?
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Yeah, well, you just literally just get some seaweed, and I mean, it's not going to taste great, but it's actually loaded with vitamin C. So, with that in mind, you could pretty much just catch fish, that's your protein, catch seaweed, that's your vitamin C, and live a happy life on the sea eating seaweed. You basically just become Japanese, get, I don't know, some rice somehow. I mean, to be honest, if you just pack rice on there, I mean, it lasts forever.
Yeah, and
so
just
get a big wheelbarrow of rice, go down to your local canal, just dump it in there, get on your boat, down the river, along the sea, and then just spend the rest of your life making sushi. Just get some fish, get some seaweed, get some rice, and there's no one even there to accuse you of cultural appropriation because it's a zombie apocalypse. So yeah, I just think that's it's a fun thing to talk about, isn't it? You know? Especially these zombies because they're challenging, they're fast.
Yeah, so
I guess the fat zombies are probably fat zombies. That's fine.
Well, here's the thing: I've always thought in zombie apocalypse, like there's only 6 people left. I just think like people would survive a lot easier. Like there'd be loads of people left.
Yeah, that's what I said this to Scott at university. I said, if there was, and some people might disagree with this. This was me being somewhat brazen with my proclamations, but I said if there was an accident in York University in the biology department. So if in the biology department there's some PhD student working on this thing and there's an accident and it causes a zombie apocalypse,
like the Green Goblin.
This was This was talking about slow zombies. I specifically said slow zombies, so that's different because I was talking about how slow zombies isn't a threat. I said if there was an accident with slow zombies in the biology department of York University, and obviously we lived just a bit out from there, I said it would be dealt with, like every single person involved, or every single person infected would be like dead before we even had to like think about locking our doors or anything like that. And basically the context I was saying like literally all you would need to do is just hang out upstairs, just get like a bunch of barricades on the stairs, and then just take the fridge up there, and it's not even going to be like the electricity is not even going to go down. Like, I mean, there's going to be a few moments where people are confused and they go, "Hey, what's wrong?" and then they get bitten and stuff like that. But eventually, someone's going to be like, "Okay, shit, like people are getting bitten. Let's call the police." Police would show up. They go, "Okay, this is pretty dodgy. Let's call the armed police." And then maybe they'd be like, "Okay, we should call the army." But to be honest, if it's a bunch of people just staggering around trying to bite policemen who have got like riot gear and stuff like that, I don't think they're even going to get through many of the police before they're all just dead.
No, you're right. Slow moving zombies, that's not an issue.
Yeah, and fast moving zombies I think would be more of a threat. They could travel faster, but still, I think basically ultimately when armies start getting mobilized, I mean we have these things called like tanks
and we zombies, have drones.
Yeah, exactly. We've got obviously we've got like helicopters, things like that. Like if there's like a huge, like if it even reached the point where like a lot of them, you could just be like, okay, let's set up a barricade.
Yeah, everyone would survive, really. I think, to be honest, well, maybe not everyone, but like the vast majority of people. But the only way I could see the vast majority of people not surviving is if it was a virus. That's when it gets tricky.
Well, I think the thing is, so obviously, the reason why there was pretty much no reason to really be that scared of Ebola is because the whole thing with Ebola is that it could only be transmitted by direct kind of contact with somebody else's body fluids entering your own body. So somebody with Ebola could just be coughing for hours in the same room as you.
Michael, a bunch of black people had it in Africa, so it's automatically scary.
Yeah. But basically that's the thing. And obviously a zombie, like it has to bite you. I think the main thing, and I think this is what happens in I Am Legend, which I guess credit to them. I mean, the thing with that is that like it was an airborne disease as well.
Yes.
So, and obviously, because that's saying like, for example, rabies. I mean, we in England or Britain is rabies free completely, and we basically just did that because it became like a public health panic. Where like there were rabid dogs in London, and people said, "Oi, this ain't good." And literally, the government was just like, "Okay, get the policemen to just kill all the rabid dogs, and we did that, and it was fine, and then there was no more rabies. That's the thing. That's why I don't get people who are like, "Oh, zombie apocalypse," because literally we have things kind of like that already. Like we have rabies, which gets spread from biting people.
So basically, what you're saying is the whole genre is just stupid, and we should stop wasting so much time wondering about it.
Yeah, we should just, to be honest, we should just not watch any zombie films. It's a complete waste of time.
Just watch Joker. Yeah.
Yeah, we should just watch for the next 4 weeks. We're just going to be reviewing the Joker four times, saying the exact same thing. Anyway, humor.
Yeah. So moving on to humor. Okay, so this is one of those movies which there's no laugh out loud moments. I don't think.
Yes.
But every line is kind of like, "Huh, that's kind of funny."
Yeah,
there's a lot of wit.
My go-to line I often say is it's fun more than it's funny, and I think it's not a perfect description of this film. And I think like when I say fun rather than funny, I kind of mean lighthearted. And I don't think this film is more kind of dry. But I think this film, it's a bit like, ironically, actually, Ghostbusters in like the original, because I recently watched Ghostbusters the original, and I was thinking it's not that hilarious, and there's not that many jokes in it. Like there's not that many moments where I'd go, "Oh, remember this hilarious moment in Ghostbusters?" But like throughout the film, I was just thinking it's fun.
Yeah, it relies on good writing, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, it's not like kind of goofy fun. It's like
not like the 2016 Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it's understated, like kind of funny,
subtle,
moments.
Nuance.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I like that. Yeah, so it was like basically, yeah, like I say. I mean, I'll say the only moment I wrote down was like a funny moment. That I consider to be worthy of writing down was when he threw the popcorn on the floor. I don't know, for some reason that, like when so the little girl, I really don't know her name at all. Yeah, Abigail was like, "Oh, Emma Stone likes bad boys," and then Jesse Eisenberg was like, "Oh," and he just threw the popcorn on the floor. I think that's actually the
actress's name, actually, not the actual name.
That's fine, to be honest. I often refer to characters by that. Like, I think we've been calling Woody Harrelson this whole time.
Yeah, the actress is called Abigail. So, yeah, the character is Wichita or something.
Yeah.
No, Little Rock. It's Little Rock.
Yeah, hold a minute. That makes no sense, because, like, doesn't he call them that because of, like, where they're heading to? Like, he calls them Columbus because he's heading to Columbus. So, I don't know why he doesn't, who knows. Anyway, so, yeah, that pretty much covers it for the comedy. I mean, yeah, there was like that moment which I was like, I don't think I didn't even like laugh at that. I just thought that's funnier.
So here's the thing: I'm annoyed at myself because I didn't write this down. But we talked about comedy, and before this started, I was like, you know what? There was one moment, and it was Jesse Eisenberg said something, and it was at the end when they're running around the theme park, and he said something quite funny. And I was like, and that made me laugh out loud, and it was very, like, it was witty. That's why I laughed.
Oh, I wish I could remember it.
I don't remember the line. It was like a short, quick line. And then I was like, huh. And that was the only time I made a noise that was more than just a, little, huh. Yeah. And so...
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. So.
But yeah, like you said before, it's more fun than funny, relies on good writing and witty, just... one-liners and so on and so forth, and yeah, it's decent, but there is one part of the movie which sticks out in terms of comedy, which is the Bill Murray cameo. Now, so I think we should talk about this because it does take a bit of a weird turn. Like it's just these four characters, and then all of a sudden,
it does,
Bill Murray turns up, and it's in a zombie movie, and like obviously Jesse Eisenberg ends up shooting him. Again, it's like kind of funny, but obvious it's going to happen, I don't know why the characters... did you say this in one of your nitpicks, why the characters would make Jesse Eisenberg think he's a zombie because Jesse Eisenberg has got a gun?
No, actually, to be honest, that was like a really... I mean, I don't know, for some reason, even though it's a very obvious thing to nitpick, I actually didn't.
He was definitely going to get shot. Again, I didn't nitpick it because it was, it's meant to just be a joke, so whatever. But I think that whole Bill Murray thing, it did seem it seemed absurdist, and this movie, obviously, it's not trying to be realistic, but it just seemed too weird for this kind of movie. It seemed too absurd for this kind of for the movie that had happened previously. And so, I think if maybe Bill Murray was pissed off that he had got shot and died, then maybe it would seem more realistic. Like he just accepts his death, and it's like, okay, this is. I'm not sure. I think they went too far with this particular scene.
You're saying they may have gone too far in a few places.
Exactly. Here's the thing, though. I looked on the critical reception on Wikipedia, and apparently, Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle credited the Bill Murray cameo as the single most outrageously entertaining, unexpected celebrity cameo of any film, genre or otherwise, that he had seen in a long, long time.
Hold a minute. Did you just say Austrian film review?
No, Austin Chronicle.
I was thinking to myself, like, because those Germanic folks, they're not well known for their sense of humour, but you know what, now it's yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, obviously
it's just out of place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't find it particularly funny. I mean, I think the best thing you could say about it is you might say, well, it's kind of realistic that if you went to LA and it was a post-apocalypse, you'd want to go to, you know, a Beverly Hills mansion and maybe, you know, go to a celebrity house. Like, for example, if it was just think about it, if it was a zombie apocalypse in the UK and I wasn't worried about other things like not dying, I would probably go to Buckingham Palace and, you know, just have fun there.
Yeah, but there'd be a bunch of people going there. And the Queen would definitely survive a zombie apocalypse, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah, well...
Yeah, she survives everything, so... Yeah.
That's true, yeah. That would be so annoying. Like, imagine if fucking you survive a zombie apocalypse and you're like, time to rebuild society, and it's like, oh, we've still got a monarchy. Like, what was the point in any of that then?
Okay. So, by the way, Michael, did you think this movie was as funny, or less funny, or even funnier than Shaun of the Dead, another zombie comedy movie that came before it?
I have not seen Shaun of the Dead in a while, but my memory
It's on ITV2 every day.
Really? Oh, well, I don't know. I never really turned to ITV2. To be honest, I associate ITV2 with, like, just the Extra Factor, which is, like, just worse than, you know, I mean, like, who wants to say you got the X Factor? And it's like, I really want more X Factor in my life. So, yeah, I mean, so my memory of Shaun of the Dead, of course, so Hot Fuzz, I've seen more times of all three, you know...
Yeah, that's on ITV2 as well, a bunch, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Hot Fuzz is really funny. I think Shaun of the Dead is less funny, but I still think Shaun of the Dead is very funny. And I'm quite sure that I laughed, you know, lots of times at Shaun of the Dead. Like, actually laughed out loud. Again, I haven't seen the film in a surprisingly long time. And I'm have been thinking, of rewatching it for this Spooktober, watching a few zombie films I've either never seen or not seen, for a long time, and maybe I can get back to you then. But yeah, my memory is that in Shaun of the Dead there are, like, laugh out loud moments in it, and even if not, I think the humour in Shaun of the Dead is slightly cleverer. I know that it uses a lot more kind of cinematic humour, like a lot more kind of things with framing and the way characters act and behave and funny cuts and stuff like that, which I think this film had less of. So I would say overall, no, yeah, Shaun of the Dead's funnier.
No, I would agree. I was just referring to you because I thought you would have seen it. Well,
no, yeah, I haven't seen it very recently.
Before recently, and so yeah, you'd have a good, you'd have an informed opinion on it since you are a fan of zombie movies.
But I am still very, very confident.
Okay.
I mean, tell you what, I'd say even, I don't know. No, I was gonna just name, like, a random zombie film. It's like, I tell you what, some of the Resident Evil films are probably more funny, because I'm sure there are some of the Resident Evil films I've laughed out loud at more times than I've laughed out loud at this. So there we go. I mean, that's a real par right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's so dumb.
Okay, shall we go on to the characters now?
Yeah. So I think a very funny character is Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson is a great character. About.
Yeah. So I guess we should probably do it in kind of more logical order, which would be starting with Columbia.
Just Columbus.
I couldn't remember whether or not which one it was called. So Columbus. This is my main thought on him. This is before Peak Eisenberg. Of course, Peak Eisenberg was when Jesse Eisenberg played the role he was born to play, which was Mark Zuckerberg. And it was
also before... Oh, I thought you were going to say Lex Luthor. And it was also before Pete Heisenberg as well.
Yeah, that's true. It was before Pete Heisenberg, yes. No, yeah, so basically, like, the thing with Jesse Eisenberg is, I don't know, like, he's very dislikable. Everyone thinks... I mean, what I've heard from other people, I don't spend my time watching Jesse Eisenberg interviews, but what I've heard is that he comes across as very obnoxious and smug and
Well, we
self-serious.
talked about this in Batman v Superman, was it?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that would probably be it. And yeah, so like basically, obviously, everything before the Social Network, including the Social Network, generally speaking, go, oh yeah, okay, good. You give them credit for that. Then it got to things like fucking American Ultra and The Double and the film we just Batman v Superman, and maybe he's done other films, but in general, you just people, he's just so grating. Whereas in this, you're like, you know what? Even though I'm tired of him and everything else, I'll say this was when he was tolerable, so I'll give him credit and say good, well done.
He does seem more tolerable in this movie. I mean, I'm just looking at his recent movies, and it's just The Social Network was an incredibly good movie, and then afterwards he's just been in a load of shit. I'm sorry, but you think about it, like Social Network, great movie. He's young. It's like everyone likes him, and his career has just nosedived. I'm sorry to say.
I mean, maybe it was. I've never actually seen Now You See Me. I guess Now You See Me was good.
Nah, it's okay. It's not bad. It's okay. But I don't think his career has gone the way perhaps it should have done, considering his Social Network performance. But anyway, back to the character. Again, but he's a stereotype, neurotic. I called him I said, it's unrealistic, and
he's a real Woody Allen.
Yeah, again, and the incels would know that, and that's why we're going to see Joker. So yeah, he is again like a guy who, he's, I guess, a stereotype. I don't know. I can't think of any other way to describe him apart from a stereotype. He's not anything else really, and he has the stereotypical, love interest with a girl who's more attractive than him, and eventually gets the girl, and there you have it, and everything's happy in Jesse Eisenberg's world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, he's basically that's it. He is kind of, and I guess he is. I think quite Woody Allen-y, actually. I mean, right? I think about like
the actor or the character? I mean,
the character. The same person. Like it's kind of like, so you can imagine like Woody Allen going, I don't know. Of course, the difference is Woody Allen wouldn't have gone for Emma Stone, if you get what I'm saying.
Wow.
But I would have been like, I forgot my medication. Oh no. We're going to have to, I don't know, do you know how many diseases you can get from zombies? I wouldn't touch those Twinkies. They've probably been out in the sun for too long. And I don't know, like basically, or Mort Goldman. There's a theme I'm going for.
Yes, I can tell.
That is it though. Like, I mean, I wonder if he is. Should we find out?
He should have.
Queens, New York.
He should have had an inhaler in this movie. Just
find J-E-W. Yep.
What do you mean? Yep.
That was predictable. That was predictable. He is. He's. It literally just says like the first sentence of early life is just being Jewish. Being Jewish, he was brought up in a secular Judaism household. So,
why'd you like to make fun of Jewish people, Michael?
I'm not saying... What I'm saying is that we live in a world where there is a racial dimension to the world we live in, and people grow up in certain cultures, and there's this idea, I don't know where it came from, that Jewish people seem to be very neurotic and also more likely to be concerned about things like germs and cleanliness, and more likely to go like that.
Okay.
And that seems to be basically it's his fault for fitting into the stereotype.
Okay, right, fair enough. So we'll move on to Woody Harrelson as Tallahassee. Again, I think
more like Woody Allen.
Okay, I think he's a really good character. Again, just stereotype. He really despises zombies, as you would imagine, and enjoys...
And he despises Jesse Eisenberg.
Yes, and...
Which I think, to be honest, you could say that's a benefit. It takes the edge off Jesse Eisenberg, that he's hated.
I guess so, yeah, that's a good point. You need a character in the movie to hate Jesse Eisenberg, so...
Yeah, and definitely don't do what The Double did, where the character who hates Jesse Eisenberg is Jesse Eisenberg.
Okay, yeah, and he also enjoys killing and torturing them. Again, just like a fun character, nothing too complicated. Yeah, just likes his guns, likes his cars... like shooting and killing zombies, proper alpha male. That's it. Anyway, so we've got next Emma Stone as Wichita. Little Rock's older sister and Columbus's love interest. So yeah, she's again your typical love interest again.
Yeah.
But she does. Her and her sister, they are kind of smart. They obviously trick Jesse Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson. And I just want to ask you: did you know that she was tricking them when they first got tricked? When she was going to shoot her sister, who had apparently been bitten by a zombie.
Well, the thing is, here's the problem. Like I say, I watched this film before when I was, reasonably young. And to be honest, I actually don't really remember whether or not I thought. I mean, if I was, kind of really thinking about it, I would realize that, I'm sure, because obviously they're not going to have a scene where. Well, because they're not going to have a scene where, kind of fun comedy where they shoot. I mean, I guess so. So obviously, it was pretty obvious that there was going to be some reason why they weren't going to shoot the girl. I'm going to say, you know what, Luke? I'll just say no, just because I don't know. I mean, maybe because obviously the thing is, when I watched the film, recently, it wasn't the first time I'd seen it, so obviously I did know then. But we'll just say, first time I watched it, I don't really remember. But we'll say, you know what? No, Luke, I didn't, because I'm an idiot. Is that what you want to hear?
Yeah, that is exactly what I wanted to hear, because I did realise they were being tricked. And
yeah. So what you're saying is you'd be good at surviving as
again. Yeah, I was like, she's gonna rob him. That's what's gonna happen. And sure enough, that's what happened. So basically, when it comes to surviving a zombie apocalypse,
don't trust
attractive women.
Yeah,
you can trust the ugly ones.
Exactly.
I don't know why I said attractive.
No. I mean, to be honest, I think it's generally true, because the ugly women are just going to be so thankful to see such a handsome specimen as Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, why do men go after women who treat them like dumb? I can't remember.
What? Yeah. Well, you know what? It's because nice girls finish last.
Indeed.
It's true. Yeah, men only go for arseholes. Yeah. Doesn't really work. I wanted to think of the woman equivalent to arseholes, but I felt like they all sounded kind of misogynistic. We're not about that on this show,
no,
are we?
We're definitely not. No, absolutely not. Anyway, Abigail Breslin is Little Rock, which is his 12-year-old sister, who's very sweet, but not that innocent. Who's grown up very quickly because of the apocalypse. Again, stereotype.
Yeah, stereotypical love interest younger sister. Just such a stereotype.
A child who is appears a lot smarter than she should be, I guess, who's got a lot of intelligence for her age, or a lot of know-how, and that's basically it. And so those are your four characters, and it all gels well together with good writing, and it all works. So there you are. Yep. And also, can we not forget Amber Heard as 406, Columbus's ill-fated neighbour, who becomes the first zombie he kills.
Yeah, she was hot. Amber Heard.
She's gone on to do some great things. Amber Heard. But it all started here.
Oh, of course, yeah, sorry, yeah. I'd forgotten she was in Aquaman.
So that's the characters. Again, just some of them, just, characters which are two-dimensional at the most. But, it gets the job done in this zombie comedy. So, anyway, Michael, are we going to...
Sorry, I just realised we've never once said the words zombie.
Well, we have now.
Yes.
Do you want to conclude on Zombieland?
Yes, okay. So I feel like what we said so far, it hasn't given a massive indication as to where we would rank it and what our opinions are.
Not really.
That it's, so I think obviously generally quite favourable, but not the most favourable in the world. And for me, it comes down to, number one, it is a completely standard zombie film in the bare bones of it. And I kind of like zombie films. I think they're interesting. Having said that, ultimately, what you need to really reward is films that do interesting and new things. Obviously, as long as those interesting and new things aren't interestingly bad. So generally speaking, if you're just talking about a standard film that just does the basics, it's kind of a 6. But then this film adds another thing to it, which is the whole rules thing. But then having said that, that's undercut by the fact that it's not a film about how the surviving a zombie apocalypse is really hard. Because actually, it doesn't seem that hard to survive a zombie apocalypse. It seems like you can be an idiot and still survive it. So, don't know about that. Comedy is fine. It's not bad. With all that said, I would struggle to give this film more than a high 6. And when I think about it, I'd probably place it very close to another zombie film, which I often tend to do. I have a habit of putting films close to films that are of the same genre so I can compare them. And I'm thinking of It. And I think It was it was about as good as Zombieland. I think I would probably put it, and also actually conveniently very close as well, is Mean Girls, which is another film which is has comedic elements, but I don't feel thoroughly enthused about. So I'm going to put it between it and Mean Girls, which is a kind of middling high 6. So it's above a middle 6, but it's not that high up on the spectrum.
Oh, by the way, Michael, I feel we're going to have to ask this question, but I'll just ask this now to get it out of the way. Did you find anything scary about this zombie movie?
No. I do remember actually the first time I watched it, the only thing that made me jump was the bit where the clown, so literally, but not the second clown, the first clown he has that he hallucinates, where he says, there's only one thing that scares more than zombies, and it cuts to a clown, he goes, Rah! And there's like a jump scare noise, it says clowns. But that, number 1, doesn't really count because it was just the jump scare, the loud noise. And number 2, I wasn't like scared, I just jumped, and that's, I wasn't like, oh no! I just thought, oh. And again, also, I was, I don't know how young I was when I watched, obviously it came out together. I think maybe it would have been like 2012, I would have watched it for the first time. So yeah,
okay. Well, thank you for giving that very long-winded answer to a simple question. But what's new, I guess? Again, I didn't find it scary either. But again, it wasn't really going for that anyway. So, yes, Zombieland. For me, again, I was disappointed by how thin the plot was. I think we came up with some solutions to maybe fix how thin and the plot was, give a character arc to Jesse Eisenberg's character. And also, just, I guess, make it make sense a bit more with the rules as well. And you've also obviously brought up a problem with the rules too. As for the comedy, it's okay. It's kind of funny. It's not laugh out loud. And as for the structure of the plot, it's a zombie apocalypse movie. 4 people have got to survive. Nothing really that. What's the word I'm looking for, Michael? Experimental, perhaps, about that.
Yeah.
And the characters.
Avant-garde.
The characters, you can easily work out what they are after one scene with them. So there you have it. I guess 6.5 out of 10 feels right to me, so that's why I'm going to put it 6.5.
Yeah, so that's pretty much the same as me, yeah. Yeah,
and now, Michael, we've got to predict the Rotten Tomato score for Zombieland 2 Double Tap. So I've already put my prediction in. Do you want to have a guess?
I don't know what this original film got.
It got 90, by the way.
Really? Okay. Surely less. To be honest, sometimes you do get these sequels that are good, but I think it's going to be less. So I'm not going to go for that much less. I'm going to go for 81.
81. Okay.
It's probably. I think that's probably too high.
Here's the thing. I put 82 in on my Excel spreadsheet.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I should have probably said mine.
You know what?
First. Do you want to go? You can have 81, but if you want to go 80, actually.
I'll go lower still, because then it will mean whatever. I don't think it minds. So I'll go, but I won't go as low. I will kind of compromise, because you know what, Luke, you should have told me, because then you. So I'll go for like 79.
Right.
So that way, if it is 81, then you win, and I'll be angry.
Okay. So let's see then. That's it. What are we doing next week, Michael?
Well, Luke, obviously we are actually using this film as a launch pad, a springboard for a exploration into many zombie films, and we're going to be looking at where it all began with a look at 2 proto-zombie classics, White Zombie and Night of the Living Dead. And that's going to be just a whale of the time.
Just to...
So you know what to look forward to. Then after that, we're doing Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, the 2 classic last 2 films of the original Romero trilogy. And then we're looking at, finally, a film on its own, Return of the Living Dead, a spiritual sequel to Night of the Living Dead, produced by one of the people who used to work alongside Romero. I think it might have been a second unit director or something like that. And then we're concluding, going kind of towards the beginning of the zombie renaissance, with 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. And then, of course, we're moving on to perhaps the scariest film yet, Luke. Charlie's Angels 1 and 2.
I was going to
make that joke.
Yes. So thanks for that. Anyway, so thank you for listening. We've been selecting and reflecting on Zombieland, because it's been 10 years, and of the release of Zombieland 2 Double Tap. Join us next week for Night of the Living Dead and White Zombie. Who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.